Chicago becoming unlivable, the rent and cost crisis. They call it the Windy City, a city of broad shoulders, ambition, and history, a global hub built by generations of hardworking people. But for so many who call it home, the winds have changed. They see a city where the average rent is now hovering around $2,000 a month, and that's if they can find a place. For many, this isn't just a number, it's a daily crisis. Section 1. The Two Cities. This is the story of two Chicagos. One is a glittering playground for the wealthy where luxury condos seem to sprout overnight and the cost of living is just an abstract idea. The other Chicago is for everyone else. It's for the teachers, nurses, artists, laborers, the very people who are the lifeblood of this city, who are being systematically priced out of their own homes. The numbers are staggering. In 2025, the citywide average rent is about $2,000, but that figure hides the true cost. A typical one-bedroom can range from $1,800 to over $2,200, and two bedrooms often start at $2,300 and climb towards $2,700 or more in the desirable areas. While rent increases have recently stabilized to a 2 to 5% annual rise in some areas, this comes on the heels of a much larger jump in previous years, while wages have barely kept up. This creates an impossible gap. One analysis suggests a Chicagoan needs to earn over $78,000 a year just to comfortably afford an average rent. But, depending on the apartment and neighborhood, that number can fluctuate from the low 60s to nearly $90,000. It's no surprise then that about half of all renters in Chicago are now rent burdened, meaning they spend over 30% of their income just on housing. For many, that number is closer to 50%. This forces an impossible choice: pay rent or buy food, pay rent or afford healthcare. What happens when the city you build, the city you love, no longer has a place for you? Section 2, the human cost. To understand this crisis, you have to meet the people living in it. This is Maria's neighborhood. Her family has lived in this two-flat for 3 generations. It's where she took her first steps, where her kids learned to ride their bikes. It is, in every sense of the word, home. But last month, a letter arrived that changed everything. We get the notice that our building was sold. The new owner, he's raising the rent by $600. $600. I work at a daycare and my husband David is in construction. We don't have that kind of money. We never missed a payment. We've taken care of this place like it's our own, but that doesn't matter. Now we look at our kids and we don't know what to tell them. Do we tell them that we have to leave and that everything we've ever known will be gone? Maria's story isn't unique. It's becoming tragically common, especially in gentrifying areas nearing developments like the 606 Trail, where long-term residents are being pushed out for tenants who can afford the new inflated prices. It's a quiet exodus, happening block by block. Then there's James. James is a public school teacher. Every day he shapes the minds of Chicago's next generation. He spends his own money on the classroom supplies and stays late to help students who are falling behind. But the city he serves is failing him. I have a master's degree. I have a stable, professional job, and I can't afford a one-bedroom apartment in a safe neighborhood near my school. I spend nearly 2 hours commuting each way. I see these new luxury apartment buildings going up, and the rent for a studio is more than half my monthly paycheck. It's demoralizing. I love my students, I love this city, but I'm starting to look at jobs in other states. How can a city function if the teachers can't afford to live in it? If these stories matter to you, and you believe this conversation is important, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. It helps more people see what's really happening in our city. Section 3. How did we get here? So how did it get this bad? How did one of America's greatest cities become a place of such profound housing insecurity? It's a perfect storm of policy failure, economic pressure, and severe lack of supply. First, there simply aren't enough homes. In 2025, the number of new apartment completions is projected to see a significant drop, down to as low as 5,200 units from a recent average of over 8,600 units. This limited supply creates fierce competition, and landlords can charge more. Bidding wars for rental apartments, once unheard of, are now becoming common. Second, the housing built is often the wrong kind. Since the 2008 recession, new construction has overwhelmingly targeted high-income renters. Meanwhile, the city is losing its stock of classic affordable 2- and 4-flat buildings, which are either demolished or converted into luxury single-family homes. This erases the middle class of housing, leaving a chasm between subsidized units and high-end rentals. And third, there's a policy. Unlike many other major cities, Chicago has no form of rent control. A state law passed in 1997, the Rent Control Preemption Act, completely prohibits local governments from regulating rent increases. Tenant advocacy groups have been fighting for years to repeal this ban, arguing it's the only way to stop the bleeding. But they face powerful opposition and the law remains in place, leaving tenants with few protections against sudden, life-altering rent hikes. While the city has made some efforts, like the anti-gentrification ordinance for certain neighborhoods, experts agree it's not nearly enough to combat the scale of the crisis. The system itself seems designed to favor profit over people. In conclusion, the soul of the city. For Maria's family, the breaking point has come. They're packing up their lives room by room. They don't know where they're going yet, just that they can't stay here. For James, the choice is just as stark. He's polishing his resume, looking at school districts in cities he's never even visited. He's being forced to abandon his students, not because he wants to, but because he has no other choice. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about a soul of a city. A city can't stay vibrant if people who clean its offices, teach its children, and care for its sick can't afford to live here. When the dream of a stable life becomes a nightmare of impossible choices, a city loses its heart. The issue isn't a lack of wealth in Chicago. It's that the wealth isn't translating into a livable city for all. It's a crisis of affordability that is hollowing out neighborhoods, breaking up communities, and forcing its most vital residents to flee. This isn't just a housing crisis, it's an identity crisis. With the promise of an affordable life dying for so many, what is left of the city of broad shoulders? Are you a Chicagoan feeling the squeeze? We want to hear from you. Share your story in your neighborhood in the comments below, and if you believe these stories need to be heard, please share and like this video as well so we can demand that Chicago be livable for everybody.